Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. I thought I'd take you along with me on my journal page today. This one's inspired by a recent video by Tom Quigley, who's an amazing mixed media artist, and I will link his channel down below for you so you can check him out. He's well worth a look. So I'm starting out this page with some collage. This is my favourite way to start off a page. I love the texture that it creates in the background, and I think it just really starts the page off, gets you going, and it's just a great place to start really. So I'm using bits of old coffee dyed paper, that's an old dictionary page there, bits and bobs from old books, just what I had to hand on my desk really. There's a map there in the top, bit of a map. And there's no sort of rhyme or reason, I'm just sticking it down where it feels good, really. So that's enough of that. And I think I then grab, yes, my masking tape. Masking tape's also brilliant for adding in some texture and also just to help stick down some of that collage sometimes. Just so I tend to go over some of the edges with it. But in itself, it's great use. It's great to use for some texture in your backgrounds. I'm also going to grab, this is a paper parcel tape, so it's a little bit stickier than normal masking tape, but works pretty much the same way. Okay, so now I've got my background collage. I'm going to add some gesso, and today I'm going to be using a palette knife, and because I want to spread it on quite thinly over the collage so it sees through, so you can see through it then, but I also want to add some texture today. So I'm going to use that palette knife to create some marks in that gesso. So you can see I'm just making those marks now. And give that a really good dry before moving on. So onto some colour, I'm using a bit of blue here. I'm just going to use a brush to apply that. It's a nice bright blue, but I wanted to make it a little bit lighter, so I add a little bit more gesso in now at this point just to bring in a lighter shade. And then I wanted to bring that collage back again, so I'm just using a bit of water on a wet cloth here and just rubbing over that wet paint just to take it back so that you can see some of that collage poking through. Okay, onto a bit of pink, and I'm just going to repeat the process here. So I'm putting it on with a brush, and I will add in a little bit of gesso as well, just to lighten it up here and there. There we go. This is, I'm working in Dina Wakely's mixed media journal today, which is quite big, and I don't normally use it just because I tend to enjoy working a bit smaller. But I thought, why not today? We'll go big. I'm just adding a bit more gesso in here now, just to lighten up a few areas, and using that wet cloth just to bring back some of the collage from the background here and there. There we go. So now this is a neon pink Liquitex ink. And I'm just using my fingers just to bring in just a little bit light, this sort of light bright pink in here and there over the collage, so it sort of picks up the texture. Put a little bit too much on in that top corner, so again I'm just going to grab my cloth and just take some of it back out again. So now I'm going to go on to an image transfer. So this is just a black and white photocopy, and I'm using matte medium to do this transfer today. And I'm just going to do a nice coating of the matte medium all over the image. So you want it quite an even coat here, not too thin, not too thick, nice and even, and you want to make sure that you cover the whole image. I'm going to turn her upside down, place her where I want to, where I wanted to go, and then I'm just using that palette knife to just go over it, make sure it's properly adhered to the page to get out any air bubbles. I'm going to focus on the edges here sometimes. So there we go, I realised that some of the edges weren't sticking, so I'm just adding a little bit more matte medium here and there just to make sure that it is. I don't mind them not being perfect. I'd quite like them not to be. I quite like them a bit rugged, a bit rustic. So make sure you dry that properly before the next stage, and I'm just going to spray that with water, make it quite damp so you can start to see the image through there, and then just using my fingers to rub off that paper and reveal the image. I think this one came out quite well. I'm glad that her face came out well. Some of the edges less so, but like I say, I quite like that look anyway. So, and you can see the colour coming through from the background. Just dampening it again because it dries quite quickly, especially today. It's quite hot today in the UK. For a change. So you can see some of those edges are didn't really work, but there we go. I'm quite happy with it. I'm quite happy how that turned out. No, it totally didn't. Overall, quite happy with that one. They don't always turn out as well. So yeah, pleased with that one today. And then I thought I'm gonna add in another little one. Oh, I'm just going over with matte medium, which just seals it down. And sometimes once transfer's dry, you sort of get this kind of hazy look where you haven't got quite all the paper off. It's sort of like a white fuzz over them. And just going and doing a coating of matte medium over the top will get rid of a lot of that. So I've just got a rose, and I'm just going to put that on the top there, just half on the page. Just doing another quick little transfer. So again, I'm going to use my palette knife to make sure it's properly sealed down onto the page and give it a dry. This one came out even better. This one came out really well. Yeah, there we go. I love that one. That's come out so well. I'm just making sure all of the little bits are off there. And give it another quick coating over with matte medium. And I'm grabbing my pattern paper here, which Tom used in his recent video, and I always forget that I have this stuff, and I do use it, but he reminded me in his video, so I thought, oh yeah, I'll get that out as well. So I'm just putting that here and there, and it's nice because you've got those lines which adds to it, but again you can see through it. So and I'm just using matte medium again to stick that down. I got through a lot of matte medium in this page. So I'm just wanted to brighten up a few of the areas, so I'm going back in with a little bit of gesso, just here and then round her face. And then I thought, I'm lost again some of that background, so I'm just going to rub that back and just blend it in, and so you can see the background coming through as well. This is Parker Quink, which is a recent find, but I absolutely love this stuff. So it's a water-soluble ink, and I'm just using this to darken a few places, just there where her, round her hair, and round where her jacket was there. I'm just redarkening those areas over the top of that pattern paper. And a little bit more of the fluorescent pink. I'm blending it in here and there with a brush. Some of it I leave as splashes, and some of it I blend in. Those little 3 dots looked a bit lost on their own, so just grabbing my watercolours and some pink and just adding in some smaller splashes in amongst them. So next I love adding fabric to my pages, so I grabbed some of this black lace and I thought, oh, that will work to look as if it's part of her clothing. That was the idea. So I'm just grabbing a little strip of this black lace and sort of I'm going to stick it down there. But I quite wanted, I came across the pom-poms as I was searching for the black lace, and I thought, oh, pom-poms, do love a pom-pom trim. So I thought, why not? Let's add a little bit of that in there as well. So I'm just using some Beacon's craft glue to stick this on. I was being lazy because normally I'd like to get my sewing machine out to add these bits and bobs, but today was just, nah, the glue will do. And then lastly, I'm putting in some words, and the words I found today was "has her in her keeping," which I thought went really well with the image. And this is just found from an old book. There we are. So I'm really pleased with this page today. I love it. I love how it's turned out. Please do go over and check out Tom's work, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.